The story of democracy in Britain is an inspiring one. It's a story of ordinary people taking more and more power into their own hands, over their country, over their government, and ultimately over their own lives. And they did this by voting in ever-increasing numbers. We've been electing our members of parliament since the 15th century, but at first only a very few wealthy male landowners could vote. Then came the Great Reform Act of 1832. Now you didn't need to be quite so rich, but still only 8% of adults had the vote. In 1867, that doubled. In 1884, it expanded to include all men of property, but still not the poorest. At last, in 1918, all men over 21 were allowed to vote, and finally, women, but only if they're over 30. It wasn't until 1928 that everyone over 21 could vote, and a full 40 years later before the franchise was given to 18-year-olds. Finally, everyone had the vote, and almost everyone used that power. In 1951, 83% of eligible voters voted. Even as recently as 1992, 78% came out to vote. Then something went terribly wrong. People started to turn away from politics. They stopped voting. Centuries of progress have turned into decline. In 2001, less than 60% voted, and it hasn't got much better since then. At the Electoral Reform Society, we believe that's a real problem. Democracy is too precious to be allowed to wither away. We want to see the next great reform of Britain's political system, to ensure people are given the powers which they deserve, and which our democratic history demands. That's why we're campaigning for a fair franchise, where every vote counts, where it's easier to get on the electoral register, and where 16 and 17-year-olds are brought into our democracy. It's why we're looking at who runs Britain, so we can put an end to the absurdity of our unelected House of Lords, clean up party funding, and make sure Parliament actually looks like the country it's supposed to represent. And it's why we've got our eye on the horizon, with long-term work on the future of the political party, on European democracy, and on a constitutional settlement for the United Kingdom. But we can't do this without your help. If you cherish our democratic history and care about our future, please give what you can. Your donation will help us make the case for the reforms our politics desperately needs. You could help bring about a truly 21st century democracy. Together, we can build a better democracy.